Hello everyone and welcome back to FPL Jedi show. This is the Game Week 1 deadline stream for the season 26-27. My name is Hafiz and I would like to welcome my co-host Azmin to the stream. How's your feeling
Hello.
tonight, bro?
I'm pumped. I'm ready to rock. Um, Squad has been shifting around. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say overhaul, just minor tweaks and peaks around here. But yeah, pretty much ready. Good to go.
Alright, a bit of spoiler. Azmin will be on bench boost chip tonight, which is excellent.
Yeah, and um, after all that talk about being uncertain, not sure, because there's so many teams with new managers, and yeah. But I guess at the end of the day, my hatred for the chip has made me decide, okay, you know what, let's just use it straight away and get rid of it. Then I don't have to worry. And I think those who follow this channel know I've always never really liked having doing this wild card with a view to bench boost kind of thing. It's just not my thing. So yeah, bench boost it is. Hopefully everything I pick pays off.
Great. We are happy to be able to stream for this Friday deadline for Game Week 1, first ever for the season 26-27. I did mention that probably I feel a bit sleepy, but at the same time, we are at the same time nervous because the deadline will be like 1 hour, 1.5 hour away, and we are thinking how to finalize our team, but probably we are more settled than not from the last stream in. So hopefully by the time that we walk through this deadline stream, we might have the final idea how our team will shape up.
Yeah, definitely. And sleepy is me, not you. So so you stay awake. Let's go.
Okay. And I'm also quite excited because if you're bench boosting me, and probably
Yes.
I will not do that, we will have a different pass, which will be interesting when we discuss for upcoming weeks, and we shall see whether your strategy or my strategy probably the right thing. But we all always know when we play FPL, there are a lot of ways that we can gather those points, and even though we have a different way how we strategize our chip strategy, or even how our team will shape up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Everyone has their own style of play. Unless you're the type who just follows whatever your favorite content creator does. You definitely like everything boils down to how you do your things like research and when do you look at your teams. There are some people who look at it throughout the week. Some people just do it the day itself, of the deadline. So it's perfectly fine. Play the way you want to play.
Great. I would like to welcome Super Fluffy M into the stream. He's already asking question: is Gabriel Onion or Guardian or VVD? Wow, that's a big
Big
question
question.
on
Big
there.
question. Right. Do you want to answer that straight away?
Uh, we can straight address because that's not much of in terms of talking points on Gabriel or Onion is someone like enabler for Sunderland if you want to go at 4.0 million. Guardiola is someone that you are also had earlier draft, and VVD is I can't see a lot of people will have him in this game we won. What do you think?
Yeah, so the thing with VVD is that because we're still not sure about that Liverpool defense. You got the Jacques guy who looks good, but it's still we seen the stability last season, and even though the attack looks good, but the defense is still a big question mark. And with Guardiol, it looks like he's Maresca's one, but that's which kind of like puts Guehi out in the colors. I don't know whether that's the case. So that's the other problem, because I feel that with Guardiola, I had him as you said, and then I ended up selling him because I wasn't sure with Maresca. I don't know what's the how whether or not he's whether after the Community Shield he might shuffle a bit. bearing in mind where he was, playing with England, and so I don't, it's hard to see. So that's why I decided it was too high a risk, and especially after City lost the other day, so go without him. So okay, so Onyen is of course there because of some Sunderland injuries at the back. So he's great as a short-term pick, especially if you really strap for cash. But just bear in mind that whatever it is a short-term pick, and of course Gabriel, I think always good. I have him, so yeah.
Yeah. And Super Fluffy did mention that he's going to BB this game week 1, so he shared the same strategy as you, man. So definitely, he's at the same camp as you, which is great. And if you can afford Gabriel at 8 million, and then you chip in some of the, if you have Guardiola at 5.5, VVD at 6.5, you're really going big at the back. But that could be the value that you are looking at, because this player probably could deliver you the big points, especially clean sheet if you get it, or DC points. All right, so I think that's good for our kickoff in terms of the game week deadline stream. Let's jump to the match week 1. Let's recap. We already know what's the feature. The opening week for game week 1 will be starting tonight, 3 a.m. Malaysian time, Arsenal versus Coventry. That's why the deadline will be at 1:30 a.m. So Arsenal will start off at their own turf with invented of the promoted side Coventry. Frank Lampard will start his first game away to the reigning champion, and Arsenal want to go definitely. Arteta did mention in his presser he wants to be hunted for this new season, and he already put that mark at the back of his back. So probably this Arsenal is expected. The prediction is Arsenal gonna win the league title again this season, and we shall see, because they definitely have the greatest in terms of squad, right? And on Saturday, lunchtime, UK time, Hull, another promoter side, who play Manchester United. As we all know, Carrick side has been decent last season. They already qualified for the Champions League, but this is a new season. And after that, we have Everton versus Crystal Palace. We have Ipswich, another promoter side, who will entertain Sunderland coming to their Fortress. We have Forest under the new management, Glasner, facing Leeds United. And then we have London Derby, Brentford with the newly looked Spurs side under De Zerbi. And we can also mention the deal has been agreed for Savinho, £85 million to coming to Spurs side. And there are also another rumors that Marmoush could actually join him later before the deadline, which will be at the end of this month. And on Sunday, we have Brighton versus Villa. Brighton has been involved in the Conference League. Probably later Azmin can comment in terms of their lineup and what will be today. And Aston Villa side, who has been really, they are all main players went off. I think the recent one will be Konza, who looks like he's going to Arsenal, and Villa are there to the bone right now. So it will be a tough challenge for Unai Emery. And we have Man City versus Bournemouth. A lot of noises commenting whether Haaland going to start, how the minutes are. So just some managers who are going Haalandless. We can talk about that later. And then the week 1, this game week 1, Super Sunday, Newcastle versus your club, Liverpool, under the new management, Iraola, and close off with the Monday night match, Fulham against Chelsea, my club, the new club under Xabi Alonso. So this is the match week 1. Quickly takeaways for this fixture,
Yep. So as we talked about it last week, opening Arsenal Coventry, such a opening start. Definitely exploitable. Everyone's ready. I know it's Frank Lampard and stuff, but hey, at the end it's still a promoted team against the champions. So a rude start for Coventry, but of course, Lampard will be hoping to to be able to see if he can get something, make life harder for Arsenal. So the other two exploitable matches you could argue Ipswich versus Sunderland. So now Sunderland aren't exactly one of the best sides in the world, but it's just that it's again the fact that they're playing a promoted side, it's just a bit tempting regardless. So that's where the temptation continues. And of course the other one, which is where are they? Hull versus Manchester United. Manchester United finished near the top of the table against a relegated promoted side. The explosive but very leaky Hull who got through the playoffs. So yeah, it should again, and it's just hard to resist. And of course there's that issue of it being the how do you call it, the early kickoff thing, for those of you who have that kind of worry. so always something to
Correct.
worry about if you're thinking that way. But if not, then hey, go for it, man. It looks great.
All right, good stuff. This is the match week 1. We'll run through the presser for managers and the team news before we coming to our team. We will look at the projected goals and clean sheet for this game week 1 from Solo Analytics, and at the same time run through fixture ticker before we look at our team in. Okay, that's the plan for the next 1 hour or so. Let's jump to the team news. We start off with Arsenal versus Coventry. Like I mentioned, Arteta will face Frank Lampard, and we are predicting what the lineup will be. What's the latest news provided by the managers?
Yeah, so with Arsenal, suddenly Bruno Guimaraes has a doubt. So we thought it was just a halftime thing, but apparently there was a reason that it was taken off. So it's very interesting. We know that Timber and Saliba are out, of course. So the question is, Rice and Saka, who are both fit, are they going to start or are they going to be subs? So of course, Rice, looking as it is, it looks like he will come in for Guimaraes. So the other question, of course, I can see Saka just coming in as a sub rather than starting. So the question is really right there in front there, Gyökeres or Havertz. We know that Havertz scored in the Community Shield. At the same time, we know that Gyökeres has always had that reputation of being a flat track bully, against the lower side. So that's why they're predicting, okay, let's go for him because that's what he does. Then the other problem is, of course, with Arsenal just picking up Konza, so pretty much almost destroying Mosquera as a pick. So those who had bought in Mosquera, if they were looking for a long term and not looking to wildcards quickly, that's it. They've already moved off. Picking up maybe White or or if they didn't have Califerio, otherwise picking someone else totally, as in a non-Arsenal player, because Konza has been tipped as a cheat code for to get into that Arsenal defense, but and is he? So I would say yes. It's just that I can't be bothered with, but I can't wait for that cheat code because we're not sure. And then at the end of the day, even though he bought it, if I don't know, it depends on Arteta. What if Mosquera does really, really well and just he's solid? Now he knows that Konza came in. Okay, I'm gonna go all out, make sure I do well. Of course, when Konza did sign his contract, I'm sure he was given assurances that he's going to be a regular starter. He'll go in immediately. But then, at the end of the day, it's the manager's game. How he decides to do it, it's fine. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, definitely Mosquera is too high a risk for me at this point in time. On the Coventry side, yeah. So nothing really. Coventry have gone on some spending, and so there's a bit of a shuffle, changing the team, changing the makeup. So it's really hard, and I know that some have looked into, some who are not bench boosting in game week 1 but bench boosting in game week 2 are looking at picking up Coventry players because they play Hull. But at the end of the day, they are basing that on, it is a battle between the two promoted sides. So why pick Coventry over Hull? So the argument is that Hull in the championship, they were really, really leaky, one of the worst. It's just that they happened to score a lot of goals as well, and they made it into the playoffs. So
Yep.
that's where it's coming from. For me, I'm at the end of the day, when these two promoted sides come up, their style of football might change. They might totally go a different route because ultimately their aim is survival.
Survival.
So yeah, so I don't think it's a great idea to bench boost two. And I mean, you can bench boost two, but not because you want to pick up Coventry players against Hull. And if you look at that, why not Hull against Coventry? It doesn't make sense to me.
Right. I just want to add on that point, Min.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Konza. Probably he won't be involved in game week 1, but after that, there'll be a lot of certainty. With that news, Min, okay, I just want to mention that create doubt because Konza could play as centre back or the right back. So the uncertainty for Ben White and Mascara has pushed, okay, Calafiori ownership to the roof. If you see on FPL side right now, Calafiori is the most owned defender over Gabriel. I think somewhere in midweek when we do our stream, we did look at Gabriel is the top. Now surpassing it, even Calafiori at 38% owned right now. I think if you own an Arsenal defender, it will be Calafiori. It's no longer Masquera or Ben White unless you own Gabriel. Because Gabriel already only owned by 29%. So there is some changes after that news, and probably that will continue in terms of this. So Calafiori, we know is the more attacking from those 4 defenders, and probably that's why people can jump in to Calafiori. On another point is Zolis another asset that managers are looking at, and you can see there Zolis owned by 24%, nearly 25% managers right now after showing, and probably if let's say Martinelli continue not to feature in the squad and he minutes will be more certain, he also an option that managers are looking at.
Yeah, I'm a bit wary about Zolis lah. I'm just trying to figure it out whether it's just looking good at that point, or is it gonna continue to look good. So yeah, let's see. Of course, he's got the chance to start. He's gonna make the most of it lah. So let's see.
Yep, and against Coventry, right? Probably we are predicting like 2-3 goal at least against Coventry. At least we will see how the project will be. Okay, let's go to the next team news, Min, which is the Hull against United. You did mention about Hull. There's a lot of injuries happening at their squad right now. I'm also need to start converting myself into the manager name, Jakirovic, manager for Hull City. And what's latest from Carrick? Because we know about Sesko, we know about Cunha. Are they ready for this game week or how?
Yeah, so yeah, Hull they didn't really he didn't really say much lah in terms of any injuries. So it was down to the observers, as they say, spotted in training. But McBurney, of course, who will start. McBurney, it's an attraction in quite a few FPL teams because of his scoring ability. Despite of all odds, he's very responsible for helping Hull City get to the playoffs, because despite Hull City conceding a lot, but they also scored and led by McBurney. So he's fine. So in terms of Manchester United, so the main question is at that left side, isn't it? So is it Dogu or Cunha, or so that's created some uncertainty and making people not very keen on Cunha. Now, United have had a mixed preseason, to say the best, but at the end of the day, he's still playing against Hull, so I would expect them to win. I think Maguire and Shaw are some of your popular picks. Lamens, yeah. So Cunha, who I actually had at first, yeah, then I ended up no lah, I'm not. As much as I can't wait to exploit this Hull game, I'm just not confident with the strike force other than Bruno Fernandes. There's also Sesko who will come back at some point, but Mbeumo's getting that up top, which makes him very interesting. Even though he's not taking set pieces or taking well, I think he does take a couple of corners, but he's not taking penalties, But it's looking good for United, and I think there was another rumor they were going to pick up another central midfielder. I'll get back to that. I can't remember who it was. Anyway, so this should, in terms of predictions go, it should be a solid win for Manchester United. And Hull will be up the valley without the creek. So for now, it's definitely Manchester United's game to lose.
All right. Okay. It's definitely. I can see that a lot of managers even double up, triple up against Hull, and United have another promoted side facing next game week against Ipswich. So
Yes.
why people will jump into them, and there's possibility of wildcarding after that, 3 or 4 depending on how your chip strategy will be. But this is an opportunity. That's why people want to have a good start, right, man? So
unless Manchester mess it up big time, it's not rocket science, you get 2 promoted sides in a row to start off your campaign. It's just like, ooh, I'll be there. So yeah.
What's the feeling if mention about even though it start the match kick off early in Saturday, but Bruno Fernandes potentially the best captaincy for this week, minutes wise at least, and facing Hull City. What do you reckon?
Yeah, minutes wise fine, penalties fine. So the only question now is, you remember towards the end of last season, that get the assist record kind of issue. So is he gonna just focus on that in terms of assisting or supporting that strike force? And now I had my doubts at the Bruno at the start, because I was thinking, shouldn't United right now, I think we talked about this, empower that strike force a bit more, trust in that strike force a bit more, and Bruno, be the one to create those chances for that strike force. But from the looks of the preseason, it's still gonna end up, we're gonna have to rely on Bruno to come with the goods again. So I think that it will still be Bruno, and I didn't have Bruno at the start of last season, if you remember.
Okay.
So and I did suffer a bit for that, but yeah, it didn't do too badly, because at the start I was choosing Mbeumo over him and it did well. But I think that this season Bruno will again be the main man for United in terms of FPL wise. So It's a good pick.
Also funny that somebody is asking Bruno who to captain for this game week, and he mentioned no, Brian. So means that he
Brian.
said better captain Mbeumo instead of him. So that is his suggestion. All right, let's go to the next team news, man. Everton versus Palace. Both sides, Everton at least still maintained under David Moyes, but Crystal Palace are now under new management, Patrick Sergey. So we are unsure how Crystal Palace, because some of their key players like Lacroix also leaving Crystal Palace, predicting the side will be tougher. But nevertheless, what's the latest news for both teams?
All right. So the thing with Everton, if you look at that central midfield, it's just who on earth is there? So and even on the right got rolled. So the back is still more or less the same. Yeah. So now we got Dewsbury Hall in the IA, who keeps being talked about. Is he going to move? Is he going to stay? Kind of thing. But at the moment, it looks like he's going to stay. This is that midfield looks weak. So Armstrong, I think he's like 18. He's 18 or 19 years old or something. So, but it's fine. As far as genius footballers go, it doesn't matter. But yeah. But a central midfield is a huge burden. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Everton had some exodus of players as well. Dewsbury Hall, is for me is one of the best picks that because he's gonna be like a Bruno Fernandes but without the penalties. So because it looks like he's gonna be tasked with a lot of responsibility looking at that the rest of the midfield. So I wouldn't put it past him to he be also picking up more DEFCONs as well. Yeah. But aside from Dewsbury Hall and Dyer, there really isn't anyone you want to pick from there at the moment, unless you really think that Everton is going to solidify the defense, then pick up Pickford or Tarkowski. But none of them are actually even that cheap. So why go for an Everton player at those prices when you can get the same price for a bigger team? So on Crystal Palace now, the only thing is that Henderson, will he be fit? Yeah, after picking that last final preseason, so have all the times to get injured, he gets injured, but he may. It sounds like it's a touch and go thing. So and Mateta, who we haven't seen, will be in the match day squad, but it looks like quite likely that Strand Larsen will start on top. So Crystal Palace is pretty much going under everyone's radar. I guess one of the issues is that it's the new manager. Yeah, so we're not sure what's going to happen there. But I don't know. Sa has been scoring goals. And in the World Cup, remember, he scored goals. So I think Palace, the backbone is there. Of course, they lost Gueye in January last year. But other than that, I think we're good to go. McNeil there, maybe Pinot. Jeremy Pino, with that McNeil, who was bought in from Everton. So I have as you know, I'm not sure if you know, but I do have a bit of a soft spot for McNeil. I was very disappointed that he didn't get enough opportunities in Everton. So it wouldn't take much for him if he does well. First few matches, then I might start to look at to bringing him in. But at the moment, I do have Ismail Issa in my lineup, so which we'll talk about later. So I can't see myself doubling up on the Palace.
Yep. McNeil, is it priced at 5.5 million?
Yeah, 5.5.
5, is it? 5.5. 5.5,
yeah.
5.5, still decent. If let's say he can play an important role in this Crystal Palace side. But like we mentioned, week 1, we are uncertain how the lineup will be. But this is the new season. We need to. But for Moyes side, pretty much, I think we should predict at least at the back line, Tarkowski, Branthwaite. I'm not sure about Branthwaite condition, but the predicted lineup says is ready to start, not Michael Keane. So, okay. If you can't afford the likes of Tarkowski at 6 million, Mykolenko could provide you an excellent price at 4.5 million, which is someone that I'm eyeing. Looking at that midfield, you mentioned young player will actually be in that side. Dewsbury Hall and Dyer, could they get their service from that? There will be a concern, but still they're excellent pick, especially Dyer, who at 6 million. He also will be on set pieces and taking penalty. Dewsbury Hall, like has been mentioned, he would definitely more potentially to produce returns where the goal and assists. So that is the Everton condition. But this is the not so much attraction on Crystal Palace, but Everton probably there are 1 or 2 assets that people are looking at. Let's go to the next team news. Ipswich Sunderland, okay, and Sunderland also, like you mentioned, even Super Fluffy did ask about Onion, predicted to start this week, but there's a lot of final decision need to be made in terms of fitness players. So what's the latest news?
So this is the other matchup where you're playing from newly promoted team. So Ipswich, of course, as we mentioned earlier, was Ipswich that we mentioned in the previous stream that they are under new management, Gary O'Neill. So it's totally different. We don't know how they're going to approach and Gary O'Neill. So in terms of the Sunderland side, everyone's fit except for Adingra, and they are available. Mounier, Bala, Mukiele and Alderete. So if you remember in our last stream, it looks like it's going to be a doubt. It's going to be issues with them, with two, and Munye also picking up not towards the end of the preseason, but looks like they are fit. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. And just now the question on Onyen there, I would see Onyen might play one match, but that's it. So just be on the bench. Yeah. So if they are available, then it's going to be hard. So I wouldn't pick up Onyen now if it's just for one match. You know, obviously for those who are bench boosting, that's the plan, just for the one match. Yeah, but and at 4.0. So if you want that, then it's fine. Then you can go for it. Hume, of course, will continue to play up top for now. So not up top, sorry, I should say further forward than what his
right wing
defensive. So he's the one. He's among a very select few of OOP players. Hume is one of them, and he caught the eye. He has caught the eye during the preseason. So how long will he be there? We don't know. Rumor has it Sunderland are still looking for a winger, which might displace Hume. But for now, he's good to go. And of course, Brobby, who also was, he shone a bit in the World Cup before Netherlands got knocked out. So he's confirmed at start. And Lifei, a popular mid-cheap pick who's taking penalties. So that's, I think a lot of people are looking at that as well. Yep. And Ballard, of course, another player, looks who's gained some popularity this season. And again, Ipswich.
Yep. More probability on the Sunderland side. Just quick recap. The like of asset that managers are looking at, Onion, cheap, but like you mentioned, after this we are not sure. Ballard at 5 million, Lefay 6 million, penalty taker, also on set pieces for Sunderland. Broby, another excellent pick at 6 million upfront. But at that bracket, DCL, Evan Nielsen, there's a lot of players who can actually need to fight for that role. But those are and Hume, another one, 4.5 million. He could be an excellent price if he's playing further up, right? But on the Ipswich side, if you're BB this week, there are some assets that people are looking at, the likes of Diop or Greaves or Osha. It just could be potential. And who knows, right? Even on this paper, probably you favor Sunderland to get anything result against Ipswich, but you just never know. At home, Ipswich could get some result because they need to survive, so they need to start off with this match. So anything can happen. If you're bench boosting, GW1, I love Davies is someone that people are looking at. 4 million, you just leave him there. Who knows, right? He's be on set pieces for Ipswich, if I'm right.
Yeah. So keep those. I guess you can argue the same for Hull against United. Playing at home, I'm sure they're gonna just put a start for the season. But and arguably, I think that Sunderland, between United and Sunderland are probably going to be the more pragmatic of the side in that sense. They're not going to go gung ho all out like which you suspect Manchester United are. So, and I think Sunderland will have keeping that clean sheet as a priority. So let's see.
Right. Next team news. Forest versus Leeds. It will be Glasner facing Daniel Fake. It will be an interesting one. First of all, how Naughty Forest will shape up under the new manager. And the other point is Daniel Fake maintaining Leeds in this league. So what's the latest news for both teams?
So Glasner, Forest have one of the more better pre-seasons, of course, with some good goals, especially by Eco Jesus, who is a very inconsistent striker in the past season. But he started off this season which is not start off. He started the pre-season rate. He's had a nice pre-season. Sangare, of course, coming in as well. And Diomande, the much talked about centre back. So he'll probably come in slot in. Gibbs White is looking really, really good. And as a pick, he's no longer of course, he's a bit more expensive, but it's not deterring people from putting off him because, obviously he takes a lot of the set pieces and probably take penalties as well. So let's see how. It's just that Forest's fixture ticker is a mixed bag, and which is stopping people from going all in. But at the same time, bearing in mind that Leeds, towards the in the last third of last season, they just looked stronger and really, in terms of the defense, they figured it out, and because it got DCL scoring, so that's the other reason why Forest assets are probably not as popular this week. So pretty much everyone who wants to be playing, who you want for your FPL picks are playing, and it's a very full strength team for Leeds anyway. Rodon and Calvert-Lewin are the most popular picks from Leeds. Of course, you got Harry Wilson coming off from Fulham, joining as well. So let's see. And if you remember, last season, Stack was in and out as a possible FPL pick. Not that great, but just solid enough in terms of DEFCON. I think that the community at large, and I think that includes you, Hafiz, overestimating Leeds and underestimating Forest. I actually think that Forest could do well and keep a clean sheet in this one. So if you remember at the start, I actually had Wilson, and not Calvert-Lewin, because I still thought that Leeds are going to score. It's just that it'll be just hoping that it's just that I wanted space for different strikers, so I went for Wilson in the midfield instead. Yeah, but since then I've changed my mind and I'm just looking at Glasner and what he's done so far, and I'm liking the look. Obviously, he's a new manager and stuff, but I think the players that he has at his disposal are suited for him. So yeah, I'm looking to see Forest win this one.
Great. I just want to point out some of Forest assets. Gig-wise, not so much people are looking at, but the like of Williams at 5.0 million, Aina cheaper one 4.5. Not so much Milinkovic Murillo 5.5, because probably you could have better value from the Arsenal defenders, which is priced at the same. And Sangare is someone that predicted to be the DEFCON monster at 5.5 million. So we shall see. That's Sangare, Brentford, not Forest, sorry. And Leeds United on the other side, yes, there's also a lot of attention, like Mohamed Removic, Tariq Mohamed, and then DCL. This is the battle between Ego Jesus and DCL, man, at 6.0 million.
Yes.
Who will be the winner for this match? I think there will be some excellent value that we can get from this match.
Yeah.
It's also this is a one match. If I'm able to see, I would like to see whether, because I just want to see how Forest do under Glasner. We are visioning like Crystal Palace play at attacking side, like the likes of Monos last season, and that's why Williams are on the picture. So I think this will be an interesting match.
Yeah. On the battle between DCL and Jesus, I guess where FPL roots to points is concerned, DCL wins because he does have the penalties.
All right. Next game, like mentioned, Brentford versus Spurs, and there will be a late match on Saturday. Hopefully, I'll stay away and see, because I think this will be an interesting one. Want to see how Spurs shape up under the new Dizobi, and at the same time to see whether Brentford can continue their momentum from a good season last year. So what's the latest news?
So Brentford, so he got Vandenberg, looks like he will miss out for maybe the whole month until mid of September. Yeah, but Ayer, of course, loyal player for Brentford, has come in and he slotted himself well. And if you look at the Brentford team, it's the same, isn't it? Almost the same, except for Sangare. except for Sangare. It's pretty much got my dear beloved KLP there on the left back, Collins, Kayode, the monster thrower.
Yep.
Then
Yeah.
you have Muhtara, Shade, and Thiago. Yeah, and then so the question is Jensen there, or maybe who's the other guy?
Yamuluk, yeah. Is right.
Yamalu. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Starts with D. Oh God, I can't remember his name. The semi-bald guy.
Damsgaard, right.
Damsgaard. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so when you look at that team, it's almost everyone you're familiar with. That's the team.
Yeah.
Then you look to the opponents. My God, who are these? It's a totally different team from last season. So Deservely has been really busy. Of course, Kinski is there. Van Heck, who they picked up from Brighton. Senesi, who you picked up from Bournemouth. Robertson, who you picked up from Liverpool. Archie Gray is, of course, from Spurs. Then you got Tonali picked up from Newcastle. And if Matheus Fernandes does start, Fernandes is from West Ham. So it's insane. Then, of course, but there was people that you saw from Spurs, but the back and mid has totally changed. And of course, the problem is Spurs is still the same. That front line is still a problem. You got Richarlison, who we know is a very hot and cold player. Solanke continues to be injured. Mendes is injured. Kudus. Also, Kulusevski, all these good, strong attackers are still out. And now we know that Pedro Porro, who Archie Gray is the one replacing, is also out, will miss, he World Cup winner, tak ready lagi. Fine. So, there's a lot of fantasy managers out there tipping, Spurs are going to be great this season, and then they picked up. But I don't know. I mean, of course, it's under Deserby, who's the great manager, who, in my opinion, but because of it's still a relatively new squad. There's a lot of players who are still getting used to how each other plays. So let's see. Long term, it does look like Kinski looks like it could be a great pick.
Yep.
In this first half. So let's see how it go at that price, 4.5.
Yeah, I still remember last season I jumped a lot on Callagher, and it actually reward me some good points last season. But he's now priced 5.0 million, and who knows, probably Kinski could be the value this season at 4.5 million. So that is a decent side. I think I just want to mention because there's some managers also own Pedro Porro, has been declared by DZB he will miss this game week 1 at least. So probably you can wait him later and pick some other players who price 5.5 million or even lower, right? So I think that's it. And I just want to point out, like Azmin mentioned, Brentford side is like kind of identical from last season. Not a lot of changes, maybe one or two, Asia due to Van Berg injury. So probably they are more settled than Spurs, who are really, you can see there a lot of new players trying to gel in. Tonali, Matheus Fernandes, Robertson, Senesi, Van Heck. This is really totally new side, and later Savinho could come in, right? So interesting.
Yeah, the only thing with this is that it looks like Brentford are solid and they're great and they're playing at home. But the reality is, historically, apparently Brentford have only, I've read this yesterday, they've only won one of the 10 Premier League matches against Spurs, recent ones, which is insane. So they draw 4 and lost 5. So let's see. I'm sure Brentford will want this record to change. So let's see what we do. Let's see what happens.
Yep. Next game, Brighton versus Villa. Interesting. Both sides will play in Europe this season. They definitely is quite, in terms of squad, especially on the Villa, is a lot of uncertainty. But we would like to hear if Emery gives some clue on his side. So what's the latest news?
So Promise David, what a name, this guy. He's Canadian apparently, so yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So as we all know, Brighton had their qualifier. So
Conference League.
on Thursday night, that match ended with a 0-0. The thing, the cause for concern is that aside from the Kuiper and Hinshelwood, that was pretty much the rest of the team that you see in the predicted lineup here. Yeah, and so instead of the Kuiper, they had Osman, and instead of Hinshelwood, they had someone else, I can't remember. Yeah, so that match ended with 0-0, which should have caused some alarm, or not say alarm, but a bit of cause for concern. Even with a very full strength lineup, they couldn't score. So I think there may be a few who they had cold feet and moved off Gross, even though Gross is that it's not that expensive. It's quite affordable. Verbruggen probably stayed as well. But to those of us who were considering Hinshelwood, I think people are more nervous of picking him up because he didn't start during midweek. But I think that he will. It shouldn't be a problem. I think Hinshelwood will start this weekend. So see what you want to do with that. Yeah. So for Brighton, De Kuiper gets up there with Gomez. So because Minte is out, so De Kuiper, when he came in, he played in preseason as our position, and he was quite attacking and quite a threat. So the other issue with Brighton, of course, for Gross, and Gross played 90 minutes. So so how old is the guy?
35.
Yeah, okay, so it's not exactly young. So you would think that for this match, I suspect that he will still start, but it's just that he will get stopped off early. So that is a cause for concern in terms of minutes. Because there's three matches in the space of a week, Gross. And I know they love him to bits, so they need to take care of him.
There's no more Milner there, right? To at least probably.
Yeah, that guy he finally retired. So thanks. I mean, credit. As a Liverpool fan, he was great for us. So well done. For on the Villa side, Emery is a bit, as the word that they use is coy, but because the reality is Villa are undergoing an revolution of sorts, which is quite funny considering they're going to Europe, and yet they lost so many of the players. Konza, which was the latest. Yeah, so because they've lost Konza now, so they lost Tielemans, they lost Morgan Rogers, and they've lost Martinez. So which is insane when you look at that. That's the entire spine.
Yeah.
Except for Watkins, and even Watkins has
probably Watkins also, because they are rumored to go somewhere.
Yeah. So Watkins himself, he hasn't really played in preseason as well. So
wow.
So you got the entire spine gone. Digne, well, I wouldn't say Digne is part of the spine, but Digne is gone as well. But that paves the way for Maatsen. So when you look at that team, it doesn't actually inspire me a lot of confidence. I'd like to see how the team gel first. Buendia, who has some quality, but he's very inconsistent and doesn't last 90 minutes. Not a 90-minute type player. So Garnacho, who's come in, Villa just like picking up these. So let's see how Garnacho does. But I do feel Villa are gonna be. If you remember last season, Villa had a slow start as well. They fight, and then Mary figured things out towards after the first 7-8 matches or so. So, but on that basis, also I think it will happen as well. So I expect Brighton to win and win strongly. Not a high score, but solid, with Villa offering little threat.
Yep. With Brighton involved in Europe, and they already played like Tuesday, it won't be a surprise if they say some players are rotated or minutes managed, right? So that is the risk that we should be aware of. But someone that will be monitoring, where a lot of community also looking forward to, Vuskovic potentially will be hitting that DEFCON points more, potentially at 5.0 million gross, 5.5, but he is in my team right now. A bit spoiler, but like you mentioned, probably his minute could also be managed. Should be on penalty, but with this Promise David coming in, there's rumors that he will be taking the penalty duty. So there will be a lot of uncertainty. So I think that's for Brighton. And for Aston Villa, for me, it's a no-go. I won't pick any Aston Villa side because they are really like rebuilding back into the new team. So I won't go any of their assets, definitely.
Yeah, let's see how promise David does, because at the end of the day, Rutter is not it. And if anything, the match last night showed that, without Hinshelwood,
Yeah.
the scoring is affected, because Rutter, we saw Rutter was supposed to be the main man last season, and Welbeck was be the second, but in the end Welbeck became the main man and Rutter was the second man, or even getting relegated to the bench as well. So let's see how David does, but just not this week.
City versus Bournemouth. I think this is also a match that everyone looking forward to, especially on the City side. Can they bounce back from their defeat against Arsenal from the Community Shield? So what's the latest news?
Yeah, so City, the Doku thing lah, that's the main problem. He's out, which, depending on how you look at it, does that make Semenyo stronger because they'll rely on him more, or does it make it weaker because they'll be less creative as a result? They still have Cherki there, who the most creative player. I don't know how Maresca plans to make use of him. So this particular lineup has Nuri playing out of position. So it's really hard with City because they've lost a bit of spine. Rodri, although to be fair, Rodri didn't play that much last season. But more importantly, Bernardo Silva, who was always there. He's the core of that team. Dictating play. So that's a loss. And as we talked about previously, Maresca, we don't know how he'll handle this. But Haaland is Haaland lah. Okay, so in terms of Bournemouth, we didn't get any team news, but all those players that I mentioned were expected. Bournemouth, of course, we're not picking because they have such a bad fixture start to the season. But I like Kluivert. I think he'll be more for the. Of course, he takes penalties, but Tavernier is taking the free kicks. Of course, Evan Nilsson, you mentioned just now. If the fixture lineup wasn't so bad, then Evan Nilsson would be fighting off DCL and the other 6-point Robbie players. I think he might even be neck to neck with TCL, but then because of the bad matchup. So Bournemouth are going to look at that Community Shield result thinking, maybe we can get something out of this. But City are still City at home, and Bournemouth have not had a good recent record against City, so it should still be City to win. It's just how they do it.
Yep. On your personal note, Haaland, is he a worry in terms of starting or minutes?
I'm worried about his minutes. He will definitely start because we saw him getting taken off. And I think we talked about this last week that Maresca is has a record of managing player minutes, managing the load. I think something like that. So I think he will do the same with Haaland as well, and Semenyo. So I'm a bit. I have my doubts with City at the moment because of Maresca. Not so much about the changes in personnel. So I'm willing to wait and see.
Okay, great. Iskandar Al-Bakri asked, Visa or Broby? So that Visa also at 6 million. Same goes to Broby. What do you think, man?
Crazy, right? Even Visa's at 6 million. It's insane. So the thing with Newcastle I don't like is that midfield looks kaput. Okay, so I was arguing with someone on Blue Sky about the Wissa can score goals, but is he going to get enough supply? Will the ball come to him a lot? Because Liverpool's defense isn't the best either. It's it's still a work in progress. But it's just that Newcastle's squad looks devastated, and I wonder who's the leader in that pack. Without Bruno G, and Tonali's not around now. Joelinton is injured as well. Okay, we'll take a look at that later. But between Wissa and Robbie, if it's long term, I would still probably go Wissa, because Brobby is really just this punch boost game week one, and Sunderland are Newcastle's fixture lists are at the top, right? Hafiz, if I remember,
For City, is it?
for Newcastle,
For
because
Newcastle.
the Wissa question. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
think. Yeah, I think Newcastle's fixtures are quite decent. It's just
Yeah, up there
the
after
squad.
Liverpool, they have some
Yeah.
decent fixture. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that I would go Wissa for long term.
Okay. Alright. Let's go back to the team news and see whether the next one will be Newcastle versus Liverpool, and we can see that Wissa is predicted to start. So, what's the latest news, Min?
Right. So Newcastle, who are top of the fixture ticker list. So you look at that squad. You got Elanga, who Newcastle fans don't rate. You got Wissa, Barnes. Hang on, why is my screen not showing? Okay. So this one has Osula starting with Wissa. Then Barnes, Bamba, Dredick, Theo, Botman, Lewis Hall. So that midfield is just a case of it looks so fragile. Whereas last season, most of the time you had Joe Linton, Bruno G and Tonali. Now you got Jacob Ramsey and Bamba. And what are they doing? They're not going to play with a third midfielder. They're just going to go all out attack if that's the predicted lineup. I'm not sure that's a good idea. And Newcastle have their new manager, and to be fair, Liverpool also have a new manager, which is Iraola. So we know Ekitike is still off. Curtis Jones is going off to Inter Milan. So good luck to him. So you got Jacket. Will Jacket slip in immediately? It looks like it's going to be the case. So now you got Gravenberch, Zoboslai, Ngomoha, Woods, Gakpo, Isaac. I'm keeping my eye on Ngomoha. If he starts regularly, he might be useful. So even in this predicted lineup, you've got. So again, gonna bag your team and a lot of other people out there in terms of picking up Zoboslai. So Zoboslai looks like he's gonna play that quarterback role. Yeah, and I know if Isaac's not on the pitch, he'll probably take penalties. Zoboslai takes a lot of the set pieces and free kicks. He can do a deadly free kick as well. I just think the amount of sharing that he's gonna have is not. I wouldn't be very happy with it. Yeah, so let's see how that goes. But Words, of course, this is the season. Sure, last season was a very mixed bag to poor season for him. So this is the season where he has to step up and prove himself worthy of that Liverpool badge. So let's see. Gakpo, who keeps getting rumors about him going off, but then right now he's with us. So I see Liverpool trashing Newcastle. I'm sorry, even at St. James Park.
Whoa, that's a big call.
Yeah, I just think that there's no leadership in there. Now they've got a new keeper as well. He has to get used to the defense. Dan Burn has dropped drastically. Livramento is still out. So yeah, there's a lot of protection there.
Yeah, I can see that Jolinton also not available, right? So that may feel be tough for Newcastle under the new manager, Jassel. Yeah, I forgot his name.
Jassel. Isaac against his former club, by the way.
Oh, you know how the reception will be, right?
Yeah.
It will be a nasty one for sure.
As long as it's not like Galatasaray, then it'll be fine if you remember that. Okay.
Right. We would like to welcome our champion, Nama 123 Go, Azman. Salam Hafiz Azmin. Waalaikumsalam. Thank you for joining our stream. Nice to hear from you guys. His team is locked and he will be BBing this week, man.
Hey, see you at the top, man.
Interesting to see if he can share his team, so we can talk about that. So we can compare some notes, right?
Yeah, we'll look at it when it's at the top again.
Yeah. I have the feeling Frimpong will be a great pick this season, man. Let's see if he keeps position. Probably bring him in game week 3. Wow, interesting.
I
Make
certainly
game
hope
bomb.
so. Yeah, discipline, bit more discipline, better, and under Areola, hopefully he can deliver the goods.
Okay,
But
last but not least, game Fulham Chelsea Monday night. Chelsea have to play in Monday because they are not involved in European competition this season. That's a sad thing on for Chelsea under Xabi Alonso at least, but they are facing each other friend. Aboloa will be on charge for Fulham. What's the latest news, man?
yeah, so just now you mentioned about Chelsea not being Europe, and that is why Pedro looks so attractive. Doesn't have to worry about any distractions. He's on fire during the preseason. Didn't play at the World Cup, so very well rested, and out to prove his worth. So yeah, I can definitely see a lot of reasons wanting to go for Pedro. Then you got Rogers there, who we've seen him play at the second striker in the preseason as well. Not a lot, but yeah, it's definitely there. Palmer, who I think this guy is gonna continue to digress, unfortunately. So let's see what happens there. Chelsea, of course, the same problem with them is that they have a bloated squad. So let's see whether they manage to get rid of more before the transfer deadline. Enzo Fernandez is one of those who's a lot of speculation about whether he'll stay. I can't remember, was it Spurs that one of the teams that he was rumored? No, maybe not. And of course, old man Danny Welbeck coming from Brighton.
Ah,
Yeah. So Welbeck got rid of the youngster in Brighton and made it his own, but he probably won't do the same to Joao Pedro. But he will take over. Who's the other guy? Who's that? Who's your striker that they picked up
DCF.
from?
Who? Delap. Who?
Delap, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Welbeck will turn out to be more reliable than Delap. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Yeah, Pedro Neto has also had rumors. Anyway, Fulham,
Yep.
and the other reason which makes Pedro so hard to resist is, of course, because Joaquim Anderson will miss game week 1. So let's see how that will go. Of course, Alvaro brought in 2 of his players that he knows very well, which is Garcia and Palacios. So let's see. They lost Wilson, which for me is, Wilson is a creative and a goal scorer as well. So Bob is not of his level. So let's see what happens there. But under Aboloa, Robinson and Castagna seems to be getting a lot more freedom playing further forward as fullbacks. So it'll be interesting to see when the Fulham fixtures get better with the Robinson, who a few seasons ago was quite a useful FPL pick. Let's see if we can look at him again.
Right, good stuff. These are all the team news. Hopefully we covered everyone. We shall now discuss on the projected goals, and we already 1 hour mark, man.
Aren't we like 30 minutes away from the deadline?
Yeah. No worries, right? Our team should be settling, right? Okay. Okay. Quick one on projected goals and clean sheet odds. Game week 1. Solio Analytics. Stats who are predicted to score big this week. No surprise, Arsenal are both top in terms of projected goals and clean sheet. 2.55, nearly 3 goals are expected Arsenal to score against Coventry, and 59%, 60% odds to keep clean sheet against Coventry. So I can imagine dah boleh nampak, visualize, Arsenal 3, Coventry 0. So probably that will be the result for this game week 1. Who else are predicted to score big? City against Bournemouth, 2.34. And then third one will be United away to Hull, 2.16. At least 2 goals are expected to score for those matches. Then after that, we go down a bit. Liverpool, slightly lower than 2 against Newcastle. But we know that will be a tough match and a hostile environment at St. James Park. Yeah. So Chelsea after that 1.78, Brighton 1.67. Then and in terms of clean sheet, after Arsenal, United are expected to keep clean sheets away to Hull against a promoted side. Then is City at home, Bournemouth. So City are expected to have a good result against Bournemouth. Probably Azmin might agree or might not agree with that. After City, Everton are expected to keep clean sheet at 30%, but they are all lower side, below 30% and so on. So, what do you think in terms of prediction for goals and clean sheets?
For City, Bournemouth, City should still win. It's just that I'm not comfortable with picking a City player until I see how Maresca runs that team. So Arsenal, Manchester United, no surprises. And Liverpool there as well. So I mean, no real surprises. Hull's chances of keeping a CS is only 10%. Coventry's at 7%. Worse.
Ooh.
Ipswich has the best clean sheet percentage amongst the promoted team, and that's they don't play one of the big squads. They play Sunderland. So I'm no disputes this time for this. I think they more or less what I expect. I would think if among those 10, maybe I would think Brighton's scores could be a bit better, because I really think that Villa will struggle at the start.
Okay, fair. I just want to point out, you can see the prediction Sunderland is close one. They are expected to be a draw game. So Ipswich could have a chance in that match. And for Brentford and Spurs, they also prediction close, probably slightly advantage to Brentford at home. But it will be something interesting. Can Spurs suddenly get result against Brentford? I think people are totally jump into Spurs asset, and we shall see whether that can happen, right? But it was still a close call at the GTEC Stadium, right? Brentford and Spurs. Other than that, Everton expected to have a better result against Crystal Palace, but it will be still a close one, right? So if you want to take advantage, if you're building your GW1 team, if you're thinking about, there's some league who reward, who give a reward to GW1 result, right, man? So you just jump into Arsenal assets, United and City, I suppose. I think that's a clear cut for this game.
Yep, that's right.
All right, before we go to our team, quick fixture ticker recap, which we already shown. Everton on top. Okay, then United, they're playing excellent. Hull and Ipswich. We have Newcastle.
Newcastle,
I'm not too sure whether we're going to jump into any of the assets because uncertain. Yeah. And then Brentford at fourth, probably a surprise one, but they are at fourth. They are really a certain group because managers are still the same, the core players are still the same. Then Crystal Palace there, probably that's why Azmin mentioned about Sa, because they are fifth in terms of ticker, despite playing City the second match. But other than that, Arsenal still somewhere in the middle, but we know this potential. City a bit lower, probably because they're playing United and Liverpool in their first 6 matches. But not for Coventry, not for Bournemouth, not for Sunderland. At least, probably the first 3 matches, they have some advantage. Ipswich, Fulham, Brentford, but after that, Arsenal and City, probably you're going to jump off from that bandwagon. Okay, that's the feature ticker. Should we go to our team?
Yeah, I want to see your team, man.
Yeah, this is my team. Okay, pretty much still the same core from the midweek streaming. 0.5 million in the bank. Not playing any chip this week. I walk through my team. I'll go double defense. I think this is lagi concrete my decision, because after that Konza news, I don't think you can go wide or even Mascara. So if you want to double up, I think Raya and Calafiori, unless you have money for Gabriel. So I think I have a good squad because my team is not bench boosting, so I don't care about my bench. So I'm going to concentrate on my players on my pitch. Raya 6 million, Calafiori 5.5 million. If Arsenal kept in clean sheet, I will get 12 points minimum, probably. Hopefully. Then I have Maguire, United side, I'll triple up. I have Bruno Fernandes and Bomo predicted to start. But slight change because I have Asia right now. Christoph Ayer from Brentford. They are fourth in the ticker. They are playing at the home against Spurs, even though it's tough match on paper at least, but Brentford is a decent side. And then I have Soboslai in my team. I have gross 5.5 million. Even though now probably I can think of again if they say with this European involvement, whether Brighton gross at 35 years old, can he maintain and play minutes and so on. But my lineup up front, I think template, Joao Pedro, Haaland and cover DCL. Everyone gonna have them. I'm gonna play them. My bench really cheap one. Slater at 4.5 million midfield. Rodon, if I need him, I will rotate pairings with Asia. 4.5 million. Rodon and Van Iwi is just 4.0 million. He could be anyone. And non-playing keeper, Palmer. So that's my teammate. 0.5 million in the bank. I just want to point out some small decision I could still make for the next half an hour. If I want to upgrade Asia to Ballard, 5 million. Okay, I can do that. Or gross, if they say uncertain, 5.5 million, I could go Ndaye or Lefe. So that could be my final decision I need to make.
Okay, so I'm quite impressed because if you remember my last squad had Pinnock in it. Now we know that Pinnock doesn't look like he's the first starter from Brentford as well. So you're hoping for a clean sheet from Brentford against Spurs, and I kind of agree with that because Spurs attack is still not quite there. So it is an option. Quite a good possibility. Now, so the question is, after this week, what are you doing for do you want to keep the same if Aya is there? Will you play Rodon?
So next week, so next week Leeds will play Brentford at home. So I could play Rodon. Or if I want to be aggressive, I could play the Coventry defender there because they're playing Hull. Who knows, right?
Is your Ayer pick because you had to bring in Raya? You had needed some money somewhere?
I have 0.5 million in the bank, so I could easily upgrade Ayer to a 5 million defender, which is Ballard or Nico Williams. But I'm trying to keep whether I should keep 0.5 million for rainy days. You just never know what will happen in game week 2 and 3. Suddenly I need to use that money, right? So at least I have the bank. So that, or I could just keep this team. But how about Pascal Grossman? Is he someone I need to concern? Should I upgrade to somewhere else?
Nah, he should still start this weekend. Just will not see 90 minutes. So, how much is Hinchelwood?
6 million.
Yeah, 0.56. So you could just go up by 1 and get Hinchelwood if you wanted to keep a Brighton player. But of course, Hinchelwood doesn't have dead balls in his locker. So that's but then he is a goal scorer. So you got to think about that. Other than that, everything's fine. Rodon on your B1 is a very strong bench one, in my opinion. I think Leeds will continue to be decent in terms of the defense. So, and you're not bench boosting, so it doesn't really matter the other players. That's my only suggestion.
Right, we shall see. Let's go to your team, man. You have to share your screen because you have the latest.
Yes. So after making more changes, I've ended up having a very different screen. Very different, not say very different, but quite different screen from the one that we started out with. Let me find my window.
All right.
Okay. So do you see my team? Can you see my window?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm bench boosting. So I've gone for the pairing of Lemons and Verbruggen, hoping for that Manchester United clean sheet. So I have tripled up on Manchester United, Lemons, Maguire, and Bruno Fernandes. So no second Man United attacker for me. I've tripled up for Arsenal. So instead, who did you have?
Calafiori.
Calafiori and Raya. So I've got Gabriel and Calafiori. And I popped in for Odegaard. Okay, so the reason for it is because I just cannot see myself investing a lot in that midfield, and I want in the Arsenal attack, and I want someone who I feel will continue to play unless he gets injured, and I think Odegaard fits the bill. Eze might come in for him, but is more likely to play on the left rather than come in for him. And Odegaard isn't going to play 90 minutes most games. He'll probably play 70 plus, but for me that's enough because at 6.5 I think he's all right. So I tried to decide whether going him over Solis, but I'm not quite convinced with Solis yet, so I just go for Odegaard. And I think he is stronger with the presence of Bruno G. Unfortunately, Bruno G isn't going to be around for this week, but it's a long-term pick. Then I'm happy to have a go with Odegaard. So the other players I have, Sar. I just think that Ismail Sar is going to be continue to be consistent and do well regardless of change of management he'll just continue to be the star because that's what he is for now for Palace, even though no Munoz and Mateta only coming back now. KDH, I feel that he will be the main Everton player, the main man for Everton. I think he's taking on more responsibility. I think we mentioned that I told you that I felt that he's like a Bruno Fernandes without the penalties kind of player. That's what he's going to be for Everton. Then I doubled up on the Liverpool attack with Woods and Isaac. So that reflects on what we were talking about really, how I think Liverpool is going to trash Newcastle and I want to be part of it. So Woods and Isaac. So more forward facing players. Then of course there's Thiago. Not the best popular picks.
But he's still the talisman for Brentford.
He's still a talisman. So I've got a few talismans. I've got Sar, KDH, Thiago, Bruno. And I don't know who the talisman for Liverpool is at the moment. There's no real one person. Is it Szoboszlai?
We shall know this season.
Yeah. So at the bench, I got two Brighton players, Verbruggen and De Kuiper, who I like having for the out position. Then I have to see what happens next week because to this week bench boosting. And then I have two Sunderland players, Hume and Robbie. So I was having issues deciding between Robbie and Igor Jesus. Igor Jesus, who I was looking at as being good preseason, but then I remembered my whole objective of picking up this is just for the bench boost. After that, even if I have Igor Jesus, he'll most likely stay on the bench anyway. So why not pick up Robbie and play him when I need to. So those three at the bottom are going to be on the bench most weeks. Unless something drastically happens.
I can only say your team look great. This is a Haalandless team. Okay, no
Haalandless team. Yes.
Okay, which is great. I think they will be great to discuss next week after we know the outcome from this game we main, because we have different paths. I'm excited, so we can continue the discussion. Only my comment here, if you want, I think Odegaard is still an excellent pick for Arsenal, even though like the likes of Eze could share some minutes from Odegaard, but he's still the captain. He could be on random penalty kick. You just never know from Arsenal. But I just want to point out, if you have thinking of Zolis, same price, he looks more nail 90 minutes. It's the hype right now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's the thing I mentioned just now. I haven't quite bought into the hype yet. So, still for me, as a new player, I don't know whether it's Spurs. So I just put my faith in a tried and trusted player. So that's why I went for Odegaard. All
right. So you are ready, man. Don't chop and change. Who will be your captain this week?
I'm going for Bruno Fernandes.
Okay.
I honestly I was looking at Sar and Isaac as a possible captains, but then the promoted going against the promoted team just seemed like a logical play for now.
Yep. Interesting. I will be going Haaland despite minutes risk. So next week we will have an interesting conversation. So I think we leave it there.
Yeah, and, I just want to point out the only thing that worries me a bit when I look at my team is that it's not a no Haaland draft, it's a no City draft. So hopefully I don't get that many.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, because I thought of having Semenyo instead of Haaland, but then
all right, good stuff. Time to wrap up. But before we go, we would like to invite everyone to our FPL Jedi League. You can just join in. It's free to join. 7EIOJO, and join our community. We will showcase the team top 10 team at least every week. We can see whether you're part of performing. I think I end up second place, where 123 Go did win our league. So congratulations, he actually won. And the winner for this season 26-27 will have a prize, which we will later reveal along the season. If not a Lego set like Azmin mentioned last season, probably some cash prize which we rewarded to whoever win our league in the previous season. So your last word, man.
All the best. Let's hope everyone, well, not scoring better than the other, but for those watching, hope you start off well and you happy with your squad. Don't remember that whatever squad you pick, remember your strategy. Even if it doesn't do well, is it a long-term thing, or whether your picks, you've made mistakes, wrong assumptions, that kind of thing before you overhaul your team. So all the best. Have a great 2026-27 season.
All right, thank you everyone. Before you leave, do hit the like button and subscribe to our FPL Jedi YouTube channel and support us. And until then, hopefully to see you again next week. And may the force be with you and Green Arrow next week. Until then, take care and bye-bye.